In this video, we're going to talk about the top 10 supercars. So before starting, please like this video and subscribe to the top 10 best for future updates. There are many options available on the supercar market right now, even in the face of stricter emissions regulations. Everything is available, whether you want 6 or 12 cylinders, front or rear wheel drive, opulent or understated. Due to this, we've created a list of the top 10 supercars available for purchase brand new in 2022. Number 10. Chevrolet Corvette Stingray. The newest C8 Corvette qualifies for this list because it'll officially be sold in right-hand drive in the UK and will switch to a mid-engine configuration for the first time. The Stingray boasts the straight-line performance necessary to qualify as a supercar, with a 488 horsepower pushrod V8 and a dual-clutch gearbox producing a 0 to 60 mph time in 2.9 seconds. Additionally, the Z51 package will come standard on UK spec vehicles, giving the C8 a chassis to match. This includes larger brakes, a limited slip differential controlled electronically, new aero components, a louder exhaust, and Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires. Due to the most recent Vette's lack of ferocity when truly pushed, it's fallen quite a little in our ranks. Although owners can get a sportier suspension geometry setting with a little tweaking, it's set up for modest understeer at the limit. Additionally, the cabin undoubtedly feels cheaper to rent than other automobiles in this area given the low pricing. Nevertheless, you cannot dispute what you get for the standard Porsche 911 Carrera price. Number 9. Audi R8. Because of its new sound-diminishing particle filters, the Audi R8's appeal significantly declined after its most recent makeover. The car's less desirable qualities became more prominent when one of its most outstanding qualities is sacrificed. The biggest one is that Audi's mid-engine supercar doesn't provide a lot of feedback. Rather, it doesn't feel very good. However, it is still blazingly fast, astonishingly competent, and incredibly simple to live with. The R8 has a smooth ride, is simple to get in and get out, and has excellent all-around visibility. The 602 bhp AWD R8 performance has a lot more power than the R8 RWD, which is now a permanent member of the lineup, unlike the previous RWS, which was a limited edition. Number 8. Porsche 911 Turbo S. It's a wonder Stuttgart doesn't now produce a supercar, given how annoyingly amazing Porsche is at it. Well, everything. However, we're going to take a chance and say that the 992 911 Turbo S comes near enough to being a supercar to put it on our list. Who cares if the engine is in the wrong location for that title when it produces 641 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque, enabling 0 to 62 mph acceleration in 2.7 seconds. That level of extreme performance is what a supercar requires. It accelerates more quickly than many of the vehicles listed here, and at a top speed of 205 mph, it's comparable to the R8's top speed. The music has been greatly enhanced and is much less of a blunt instrument now. However, the Turbo S still lacks flamboyance, which is why it's ranked lower on this list. Number 7. Honda NSX. Simply said, the second-generation NSX must not be on the radar of the typical supercar. Perhaps the badge is the problem, or perhaps the heavy and intricate hybrid gear is unappealing. An interior that is way too tacky for a car asking for £200,000 is undoubtedly a contributing factor. In the UK, they're uncommon, and since this car's introduction in the US, the Acura version has had trouble selling. But if you think about it, it all makes sense. Even though the Honda is advertised as having all-wheel drive, just 2 little motors with a combined 74 bhp are used to drive the front wheels. It makes for a really thrilling drive, because the torque-filling crank motor and roughly 500 bhp from the 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6 are sent directly to the back wheels. Although the way the front axle motors adjust your line at first seems a little strange, you eventually come to appreciate the efficiency. Additionally, it is effectively dampened, making its hefty 1770 kg appear much lighter, a real unheralded hero. Number 6. McLaren 765 LT. It must be acknowledged that McLaren has worked very hard to defend the reinstatement of the LT designation. Although the ties to the previous F1 GTR longtails are at best shaky, we don't mind at all. This is due to the sheer fabulousness of this vehicles that now bear the designation. The 600 LT would undoubtedly be high on this list if it weren't sold out, and the 675 LT was an instant hit. With large aerodynamics, big power, and huge appeal, the 765 LT continues the heritage. 755 bhp and 590 pound-foot is a lot for the rear wheels to deal with, particularly given the boosty chunk in the middle of the rev range. However, it's not nearly as enjoyable to drive as the smaller, less potent 600. But if you stay on top of that, the most recent LT is highly profitable. Number 5. Ferrari 812 Superfast. Again, we're courting criticism because the engine of a supercar should be in the middle, but the 812 is more than just a typical Super GT. How can a vehicle with a naturally aspirated V12 engine producing close to 800 horsepower and only driving the back wheels be called anything other than a supercar? It's very difficult to purchase option 1 without spending more than £300,000, so it undoubtedly has a supercar price tag. Additionally, Ferrari has chosen an appropriately bizarre name to follow the number, Superfast. Number 4. McLaren 720S. The McLaren 720S is one of the most practical supercars available. It has a ride that's almost uncannily smooth thanks to its hydraulically connected dampers. But if you mess around with the active dynamics panel and crank up all the settings, it can do amazing things. Yes, the 765 LT advances this, but the 720S isn't that far behind and is more useful in a wider range of circumstances. It's also far less expensive. Along with its impressive achievements, it has also shown that it's a lethal weapon while traveling straight. It ruled the drag racing world until its more potent 765 LT brother overtook it. In addition, it has stunning dihedral doors that command attention. However, the 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8 isn't the most charismatic engine, and there is a definite difference between McLaren's products and those of its competitors in terms of build quality. The 720S's residual values are also not great. If these problems weren't there, this automobile would probably rank at the top. Number 3. Lamborghini Aventador SVJ. The 720S is the polar opposite of the Aventador. Given that its range topper is challenging to get into, uncomfortable to drive for extended periods of time, and impossible to get out of, Lamborghini appears to have entirely missed the memo that contemporary supercars are intended to be simple to operate. Oh, and most of the controls are placed incorrectly, and the ride is awful even on flat ground. The Aventador is a poor automobile in many ways. However, when done well, it may be a visceral, unforgettable experience unlike any other. Despite having an all-wheel drive system, it is highly aggressive and keeps you on your toes. And certainly, the SVJ's naturally aspirated V12 engine, which produces 759 horsepower, is a lovely thing. It harkens back to a time when supercars required work in order to be thrilling. You couldn't just drive down to the shops without giving it any thought. For both good and terrible causes, every drive in it will be memorable. Isn't that how a real supercar ought to be? Number 2. Ferrari F8 Tributo. Ferrari's ancient, naturally aspired V8 screamers may be a thing of the past, but the F8 Tributo more than makes up for it in other ways. The F8 is a 710 bhp car that you can get used to remarkably quickly, thanks to a combination of sophisticated technologies like slip-slide control and good old-fashioned chassis noose. Considering all the power coming to the back, it's pretty approachable, but you still need to pay attention. The Tributo's biggest trick is to make you feel heroic without it all appearing too simple. And yeah, it moves very quickly. Inside, it appears a touch dated, which is to be anticipated, given that it's a significant progression of the 488, which was itself a rebuilt 458. But contrasted to all the digital dials on the other automobiles in this area, the actual rev counter is a work of art. Number 1. Lamborghini Huracan RWD. The Huracan is now the vehicle it should have been from the beginning, thanks to the new Evo and its Performante space engine, but it still lacks some of the signature Lamborghini silliness, the abundance of which is found in the Aventador. Fortunately, you can fix this by selecting the rear-wheel drive model. When compared to the similar Audi R8 RWD, there's less of a power loss when all-wheel drive is disregarded in this situation. While the 5.2-liter V10 screams via an absurdly loud exhaust that is free of particle filters, Lamborghini very kindly provides you with 602 horsepower to send to the rear wheels. The Huracan Evo RWD is a more pleasant supercar, even though the chassis isn't quite as superb as the F8's. This is because of the V10's noise and responsiveness. This would be the modern supercar of choice if we could only have one. What do you think about our video? Let us know in the comment box below. Please like this video and subscribe to the Top 10 Best for our future updates. Thank you.